No, PKT.
PKT?
Yeah.
PKT.
PST is Pacific something.
We're live on Facebook now. Can start.
All right, we're live on Gurus at NIC. Thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Numair Shahzada, and I'm the marketing manager at NIC. We have with us today Sophiya Anjam. Sophie is a well-known and much adorned radio jockey, as well as an event and TV host. She currently leads the FM 91 team in Lahore. She's also hosting Drive On with Sophie, which is a top-rated evening drive-time show on FM 91. Sophie was also the marketing head of FM 91 a couple of years ago. She completed her schooling from NGS. She did a mass comm and communication. She, in 2019, just last year, she completed a media training program for female journalists in Washington and Chicago. Sophie is a lot of things. She's hosting a music-based chart show on PTV called Signature Tunes. She has her own YouTube channel called The S Stories. Do check it out. She also has an e-magazine and a humanitarian initiative by the same name. So that's S Stories Mag, and there's S Stories Care. We're really looking forward to hearing more about her initiatives, hearing more about her life. Sophie is quite the public speaker. She's moderated all sorts of events, and it's very interesting to be hosting a host today. So Sophie, tell us about your early life. What was it like, and what brought you to this point?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for such a lovely and such an elaborative sort of an introduction. I think you need to be on my team. I'll definitely hire you in one of my PR departments for sure. I think you do a great job with that. I think I'm humbled with, while you were mentioning all these things, I think I was having a bit of a flashback, that how it started, how the journey started. I think you started off with a question as well. So I think I was a fresh graduate. And I was not looking for jobs, but I was looking to do something in life, because I'm the kind of a person that I don't like to sit still. I'm always moving forward. So one of my friends gave me a call and she was like, so I had this vacancy at the station and would you be interested? But before that, I think I'll take a step back because I think you asked me about my childhood. Yes?
Yeah, where did it start from?
I think I fast forwarded it to my FM 91 introduction. So my childhood was a pretty normal, good, fun, innocent childhood. I was one of the two children of my parents. I was the younger one. I have an elder brother. He's about 11 years older than I am. He lives in Oxford. So he's literally my Abba, my second Abba. My Chota Abba is how I call him. So I was always a very regular, fun-loving kid. Not that naughty, but I was always into sports. And I always loved the mic, even as a kid in school.
Did you do karaoke?
No, not karaoke. In school, we used to have all these, drama lessons. And I remember I used to love dancing. So we used to have a dance class in LGS, Lahore Grammar School. And I remember I used to love aerobics and dancing. And then there used to be a drama session as well. We used to have all these, different fairs also and carnivals, and I used to participate in. So I was always into extracurricular activities as a kid. The mic was always my best friend.
Sophie, we are finding your story really interesting. So we'd like to know more. So people want to know, did you always want to become an RJ, a host, or was it an accident, or is there a story behind it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so now I get to the point that I was talking about earlier, because I suddenly realized, I was like, I think he was talking about my childhood before. So coming now to the point that I was talking about before, I was a fresh graduate and I was just looking for something to do in my life. So one of my friends, who's, by the way, a beautiful person and now a journalist based out of Toronto, Sabah Tazaz. She's brilliant at what she does. She used to work at FM 91. She gave me a call. She was like, Sophie, since you were the, you were the CR as well, and you have a good PR, so मुझे कोई लड़की तो arrange करके दो. हमें female RJs चाहिए station पर. And I was like, चलो, I'll come over. We'll have a cup of coffee, and then we'll talk about it. So while we were talking, she was like, why don't you give an audition? I was like, are you crazy? I'm not interested in the radio. she's like, why not? You like to talk and you have a good PR, just go for it. So I just randomly gave an audition that day, and the rest, as they say, is history. Just happened. I never planned it.
अच्छा, so some people are requesting कि थोड़ा बहुत इसको mix रखें, उर्दू इंग्लिश दोनों में. So what we'll do is इसको उर्दू इंग्लिश में mix रखते हैं. So taking a deep dive into Pakistan's media landscape. हम अगर देखते हैं traditional media में, so we have more than 300 privately owned newspapers and more than 90 privately owned TV channels. और अगर digital की बात करें, we have 77 million internet users, including 37 million social media users. I mean, numbers don't lie, and by the look of it, we have a huge media industry. अगर हम आपसे पूछें आपके insights क्या हैं? How strong do you think is Pakistani media industry based on the numbers जो भी discuss किए हैं हमने?
Nikki, I always feel that you say that numbers are there, numbers don't lie. I always feel that we can play around with numbers also. Numbers can be played around with as well. You can come up with your own conclusion, your own survey. You know, you can do your own sponsored post and tell people, hey, did you know about this particular survey that we just did? क्या आपको पता है कि पाकिस्तान में ये हो रहा है? तो मेरे ख्याल से कि numbers को तो आप छोड़ दें. सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया, आपने बोला था कि मिक्स एंड मैच करें तो उर्दू और अंग्रेजी दोनों में बात करते हैं. यू सेड दैट ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया is slowly dying down because of the numbers that you stated as well, and जितने भी हमारे internet users हैं. You know, I think this is a misconception. I don't think the traditional media is dying down. I think it's trying to struggle by catching up with the technological sort of advancements. You know how technology has really advanced over the years, and I feel that we really need to catch up. अभी भी बहुत सारे हमारे पाकिस्तान में, हमारे मुल्क में लोग हैं जो कि रेडियो सुनते हैं, they watch TV, they read newspapers, and not just in Pakistan. You go to Europe, you will find people sitting on the train or on a bus or walking, they will still be reading newspapers. Okay, even in the UK, they would still be doing that. Right? So I think it's not dying or going out of style, but it's just that they're trying their level best to catch up. The media landscape in Pakistan needs a lot of improvements. I think we're a little immature when it comes to our narratives, but we're definitely getting there. Immature मैं क्यों कह रही हूँ? क्योंकि अब हमारा जो एक landscape है media का, it is all about fast news, breaking news. Who wants to do it first? Who wants to be right at the top, right? उसमें क्या चीज lack करती है? Credibility.
Exactly.
Right? आपकी credibility कम होती है, आप उतनी मेहनत नहीं करते और time नहीं लगाते जितने एक traditional media में लोग लगाते थे. Let's build the story first, right? So let's make sure that we do our research first. हम अपने sources gather करें. अब it's all about putting it out there. You put it out there and then you verify it later by putting up a post, hey, we really apologize for the inconvenience caused, but you know, this is false news or fake news. So I think—
So priority is being first, not being right.
Yes. So one of the biggest challenges is to tackle fake news. क्योंकि एक दफा अगर खबर छप गई और वो चली गई, तो वो वापस नहीं आएगी. उसकी थ्योरीज बिल्डअप होंगी, फिर उसको आप रेक्टिफाई करेंगे, उसको एडिट करेंगे, उसको कहेंगे नहीं जी ये तो गलत स्टोरी है. So before putting it up right there, you need to verify it first. This is a big challenge in Pakistan.
It's so true. It's so true because digital is quite new. Digital is quite new, though it presents a huge opportunity for the common Pakistani man. You know, I mean, we're seeing youngsters, they're building empires. You know, they're getting on these platforms and they're just putting out content, like you said. I mean, there's little thought put into it often at times, but they're putting it out, they're putting in the quantity. Sometimes something goes viral, someone becomes a sensation, and I'm not sure if everyone agrees with them having become a sensation. So we have a responsibility with these new doors that are open to everyone. And so what is the message we're sending out? What are we trying to create with this? There's a huge opportunity to make better things happen for Pakistan. I mean, what do you, Sophie, what do you think are some of these opportunities that young startups, young entrepreneurs, and young people who are aspiring to be something big, what are some of those opportunities digital is presenting to them? And not just digital, any other media platform, because we are talking about this changing era and how we can use media to create a better race of humans in general and Pakistanis?
I think, first of all, we should forget about the notion that we should follow the herd mentality, right? Because a lot of times we feel, oh, you know what, ABC is doing that and XYZ is doing that. So we really need to catch up with times as well, because we need to do exactly the same thing the other person is doing. So one fine day, I wake up in the morning and I feel that, okay, so Abid is really successful because he's talking about a certain thing. And I'm like, okay, now how can I tackle this situation? Let me come up with a replica of what Abid is doing, give it a little bit of a twist and put it out there. So that's why you see a lot of the same kind of content going on and on and on and on. And you see the same kind of news, the same kind of breaking news, the same kind of headlines, the same kind of content, and you get tired of it, right? So what happens in the end? It doesn't work. Nothing works. Replicas don't work, right? If somebody has already done something and it's out there, why would I want to listen to something else? Or why would I want to watch something else, which is a cheap replica of the same thing? Until and unless I add an element of my own, which is original, which is fresh, which is innovative, and which is new. I also feel that with a lot of startups and a lot of people who want to do something in the society today, lack one thing, and that is consistency. That is consistency, because they want to reach right at the top. They want to do a lot. They want to make sure that everything's there on the silver platter, and they want to make sure that they get the ratings and they get the numbers. The thing is that we seldom forget that, you know, in life, it's not just about reaching the top. It's not just about being a rat race. You know, life is not a rat race. It's about the difference that you make in anyone's life. आप जो काम कर रहे हैं अपनी जिंदगी में, सबसे पहली बात, मकसद क्या है? क्या मकसद है आपका? क्यों कर रहे हैं? What is your aim? अगर आपका aim है fame, तो फिर आपको पता है कि आपने क्या करना है. You can be viral. You can make a really silly, excuse my French, shitty video, and you can be a viral sensation within a day, right? अगर आपका ये aim है कि आपने पैसा कमाना है, then you see that where is the flow of money coming from? Ad spend is spent on what kind of content? What are people spending their budgets on? तो फिर तो आप अपनी उस हिसाब से tackle करें अपने mindset को. If your aim is to make a change in the society, if your aim is doing something which you will leave for the upcoming generation to benefit from, then you have to be consistent. You have to be patient. You have to be hardworking. You have to be loyal, and you have to be dedicated. And for that, you need time and a lot of patience.
And
that is what's missing.
It has to be valuable, right? I mean,
yes.
किस चीज का सोच रहे हो आप? I mean, I know this might sound like an odd word to use, but I mean, I could say karma, but another way to say karma is sabab. You know, sure. I mean, there are two different kinds of karma. Yeah. Sabab is the good kind of karma. So are you trying to cultivate and generate that? Are you thinking about the meaningful purpose of your life? And if your contribution over media is going to impact someone's life positively? So I think that's also one of the points that you were driving here, right, Sophie?
Yeah, I think that's a very philosophical kind of an approach. And I think only people who understand your point, Numair, would be able to sort of dive deep into what you're trying to say. But you have to be in that kind of a zone to understand your point, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about from a layman point of view. Like, for example, if I just wake up one fine day and I want to start a magazine, or I want to do a YouTube show, or I want to do a radio show, then I have to see that why am I doing this? Mera maqsad kya hai? Aksar, a lot of people who come to us, you know, they're like, hey, you know, we want to be in the media side. You know what they tell me? Most of them, they tell me that we want to become famous, and we want to be known, and we want people to clap for us, and we want people to come up to us and ask for our selfies. Now, if this is what you're thinking, then do you think that our narrative being the media here in Pakistan would be good? Or would be valuable?
What should people be? What should be their goals? What should they be? I mean, I know you said that they should think about what exactly they want to do, but what do you think that rather than getting people to clap and, you know, having people love them, what should be their goal?
No, Mercy, the thing is that it's not really about the destination, right? It is about the journey. So always remember that, you know, you have to set an aim for yourself, and there has to be a destination that you have to once arrive at. But while you're still arriving and you're traveling and you're getting through that journey, there would be a lot of obstacles in your life. These obstacles would make you fall down. These obstacles would make you feel like giving up. These obstacles would make you a stronger person. At the same time, a lot of things would come your way in the journey. One of those things is clapping. One of those things would be people loving you. So it's a give and take kind of a relationship. You know, you win some, you lose some, but it's part of the journey. As they say, that nothing in life is permanent except change. So अगर आप ये सोच रहे हैं कि आपको जिंदगी भर तालियां मिलेंगी और लोग कहेंगे वाह 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 क्या बात है सर आप तो हीरो हैं, that's not going to happen. Because it's not going to be sustainable. But if you feel that people say, oh no, you're like a failure and I don't think you're ever going to succeed in life, that is also very temporary. It's part of the journey. And I feel that as smart individuals and professionals, we need to embrace both failure and success and focus on the aim, not on the obstacles.
Great thought, Sophiya. Focus on the aim and not on the goal. So my next question is, a lot of youngsters are watching this talk, right? And the mayor rightfully point out that बहुत opportunities हैं, both in digital and in traditional. A lot of TV channels are coming up, radio channels, newspapers. Digital world is also opening up. So what kind of opportunities do you think youth has? इतनी क्या कहते हैं access ज़्यादा बढ़ गया. पहले सिर्फ एक channel हुआ करता था, PTV. हम क्या और उस पे जो opportunities थी for anchors, hosts और बाकी related लोग बहुत कम थी. So अब opportunities तो बढ़ गई हैं, and you said you have to be responsible, you have to be consistent, but एक तो opportunities को avail कैसे करें और how to put the right content on these platforms और अपना नाम जो है वो कैसे बनाएं इन platforms के ऊपर.
Let me give you a very, I should say a very silly example, but I think it'll do the trick for now. You see, let me talk about Lahore because I'm based out of Lahore and I understand the city more. So you know how when you're really hungry, and you feel like having something really nice, and you talk to your friends, you're like, chalo yaar, let's go out and eat something and have a great time. You know, you roam around the city, but in the end, you're like, yaar, jo bhi hai, chalo Nando's chalte hain. You know, chalo at least we'll enjoy the chicken we'll have. Or let's go to Zouk because we know the food's going to be really great. Or let's go to that place because we know it's going to be really good. Why? Why do we end up saying the same thing again? Those three places are our favorite places in the world. Always. Why? Because we know that by the end of the day, it'll be worth it. Because we know that these places would guarantee us at least a good quality of food, right? So it's a very small example that I'm giving. But at the same time, you know, considering this example and from a holistic point of view, if you talk about the media channels, there are a lot of varieties. Radio stations, there are a lot of radio stations, a lot of TV stations, a lot of print magazines to choose from. But what about the credibility? I mean, there may be 1,000 stations, but there would only be those 4 credible stations because you know that their sources are verified. So I feel it's not about the mushrooming of these stations or the mushrooming of these media outlets. It is what value they bring to the table. So you have to be smart enough to understand कि जो चीज़ आप click कर रहे हैं, जो चीज आप पढ़ रहे हैं, जो चीज आप देख रहे हैं, ये क्या आपकी जिंदगी में वैल्यू लेकर आ रही है और न्यूज में क्या वैल्यू लेकर आ रही है. What is the worth of that news item? So having said that, there would be a lot of new media outlets in the future, but would they be able to sustain? Now that is the question, right? That is why we should be working on these things. कि start करना तो कोई मसला नहीं है, top पे आना कोई मसला नहीं है, but to sustain it, that is the key. Abhi, right now, let me tell you that as of now, if you talk about the digital landscape of Pakistan, you know, there are 2 media giants, I would say, who actually hold, I think they hold most of the percentage of the news on the online landscape in Pakistan, Jio and Express. Right? So if you check out, you'd always go online and you'd see, okay, so all these articles, people will look for Dawn articles, people would look for, Express articles, because these are the articles that are the most heard and seen and read by the people in Pakistan, according to statistics.
All right. And now, you know, talking about how our heroes are portrayed on the media. So every nation glorifies their heroes through media. And as far as Pakistan is concerned, yes, we have glorified our war heroes, sports personalities, celebrities, and political leaders, and they deserve it. लेकिन somewhere along the line हमने जो हमारे कुछ heroes हैं उनको बहुत पीछे छोड़ दिया है. So I'm talking about our teachers, our business persons, entrepreneurs, our young innovators. I mean, don't you think these people need to be highlighted so that they can inspire millions of people? हम आजकल के startups देखते हैं, Zameen.com है, Parkwheels है, Ruzi है, Cheetah है. They're doing a great job. They're creating opportunities for people as well. Economy को भी काफी boost कर रहे हैं वो लोग. लेकिन हमें इस तरह के heroes जो हैं वो TV पे नहीं नजर आते ज़्यादा. और अगर आते भी हैं तो वो ज्यादातर पेड प्रमोशन होती है. सो हाउ कैन वी मेक दीज पीपल मोर एक्सेसिबल? हम इनको प्रमोट कैसे कर सकते हैं मीडिया पे, और कैसे इनको यूज करते हुए इंस्पायर कर सकते हैं मिलियंस ऑफ अदर पीपल?
That's a very good question, Abid. I think that we need to understand two things. Okay? Number one, whatever is shown in the mainstream media is not necessarily what everyone's thinking about. It's just that they have the power and the platform to do so. There are so many other alternatives as well that people need to do a little bit of a research in order to find out. For example, you will always hear about Junoon, Vital Signs, Awaz, Strings, Atif Aslam, Ali Zafar. Why? Because they're always on the media. Right? But you do not know a lot about certain bands that are doing amazing work and are churning out fantastic music because they're not
on media.
Yes. Okay? ये तो हमेशा से disparity रहेगी, right? So the thing is, to tackle that and to bridge that gap, we need to be consistent, because earlier on, people are not going to like the content. You're not going to get the advertisements. You're not going to be liking the feedback, but you have to stick to your cause because you're going to be leaving a legacy. Even if you don't live to see it, the younger generation would. Now, coming back to your question about icons and about role models. You know, if you dive deep into history, there were a lot of different ideas and idols for men, women, and human beings in general. Earlier, people used to worship the sun, the moon, the stars, the universe, the fire, right? And then people started worshiping philosophers and poets, right? Then people started worshiping doctors and scientists. And then came in religion, and you had all these religious personalities that people were in awe of, right? And in the world that we live in today, आजकल की जो current generation है, ये worship करते हैं celebrities को.
No doubt.
ठीक है? अब by worshiping is the trick word here. By worshiping, I mean they're out there. What they say mean a lot. Their statements and their phrases hold a lot of value. Now,
they're the influencers.
Yeah, वो सही है या गलत, that's another debate. But they hold value because अभी माहिरा खान ने छींक मारी और ये आगे खबर. अभी फवाद खान ने कुछ बोला और ये आगे खबर. तो इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हमने आजकल की जनरेशन के लिए जो रोल मॉडल्स रखे हैं वो सिर्फ वही लोग हैं जो कि आपको यूट्यूब के ऊपर, सोशल मीडिया के ऊपर, एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री के ऊपर मिलेंगे. सो देयर आर होस्ट्स, देयर एक्टर्स, देयर एंटरटेनर्स. Now the thing is, we really need to redefine what do you call, or who do you call rather, a role model. A role model. Okay? So what I have jotted down is I've named this MIA, right? Missing in action. There are a few subjects, courses, fields that are missing in action as far as role models are concerned in the mainstream media. For example, it could be, in fact, I've written them down: education, science, medicine, service industry, right? There are so many men and women together who are working so much for the society, but हमें सिर्फ तब पता चलेगा जब उन्होंने कोई record break किया है या endorsement आई है बाहर से. So that has always been my problem, that if you're in the media side, isn't it your responsibility to dig out those stories?
Yes.
To dig out those people and put them in the forefront that these are our role models. I'll tell you a few examples. Do you know about, well, you wouldn't know about her, but do you know about Fatma Nazish?
No.
Exactly. But you would definitely know about Humayma Malik and Aisha Umar.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but I'm saying that it's a question mark. Why do you not know about Fatma Nazish, who is the first female journalist based out of Peshawar, who tackled a lot of controversial issues in the city And if you read her viewpoints, you would realize the struggles that she's been doing for so many years. Now, her story is a true story of being a hero and a role model. Do you know about Saima Rahmat? It takes courage. It takes courage. Do you know about Saima Rahmat?
No.
Of course you don't. I knew.
See, that's the issue. Why do we know about these people, Sophiya? Why?
Tell us, Sophiya. This is why we need you.
You don't know about these stories, and that's okay. Even I didn't know about them before I started digging into it. Saima Rahmat is the daughter of a rickshaw driver in Lahore. उनके वालिद साहब रिक्शा चलाते हैं लाहौर में, और उन्होंने बचपन से सोचा कि मेरे 6-7 बहन भाई हैं, मगर मैंने जिंदगी में कुछ बनना है. उनको शौक था मेकअप का. ठीक है, you know how people work in the salon here in Pakistan, and she's a Christian, she belongs to the minority here in Pakistan. उन्होंने सोचा, देखिए मेरे बाप ने तो जो करना था कर दिया, उन्होंने जिंदगी भर रिक्शा चलाया, हमारा पेट पाला. I want to do something in my life. She went to Dubai. She got a 2-year certification. She was a certified makeup artist and a stylist and a trainer. She came back, she opened her own salon, and now she's a full-fledged entrepreneur. She's teaching all these girls how to do makeup, how to do hair. She has her own thing going. She's made a house. She's made something of herself. And these are real life stories, you know, women who struggle and who go through battles in life that we don't even know about. ये हमारे role models हैं. कि जिंदगी ने आपको क्या दिया, जिंदगी ने आपको क्या दिया और आपने जिंदगी से क्या बनाया. When life gives you lemon, either you throw them away and get something else, or you make lemonade, or you just have a sour taste in your mouth, right?
Right. So we need to move past things coming into the mainstream because of ratings, because of trending topics. We need to bring things in the mainstream because we want to evolve and change human consciousness in a positive direction. So we need more people working in this area, bringing these fantastic, beautiful, wonderful stories to the masses.
I mean, Sophiya actually shared a couple of stories, and we have so much stories at the NIC. I mean, if to share one story, we have a couple. And one, the husband, actually, he is a Stanford graduate. And the co-founder, actually his wife, usne Formula 1 mein, she's the first woman jo Formula 1 mein usne jo hai, she was employed there. They both came back to Pakistan. उन्होंने एक स्टार्टअप बनाया मौका ऑनलाइन के नाम से. Maybe you've heard of it or not. So what मौका does is बहुत सारे लोगों को जो है अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का इशू है. So और हम on the other side of the demand हमें जो है घर पे मेड्स की सर्विसेज चाहिए होती हैं. So उन्होंने ये किया है कि जो far flung या फिर रिमोट एरियाज उधर से जो है what they've done is they take out क्या कहते हैं मेड्स, उनको जो है बेसिकली जॉब देते हैं अपने प्लेटफॉर्म पे, और दूसरी साइड पे जो हम लोग हैं, ठीक है, उनके घर में जो है वो जॉब कर सकते हैं. सो दे क्रिएटिंग जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज, और उनके घर की जो उनके सक्सेस स्टोरीज हैं, पहले उनके प्लेटफॉर्म पे जो हेल्पर्स थे उनके हस्बैंड्स थे वो ड्रग एडिक्ट्स, वो उनके बच्चे जो स्कूल नहीं जाते थे, बट कमिंग टू मौका ऑनलाइन इट हैज एक्चुअली चेंज देयर लाइफ. अब वो डबल या ट्रिपल जो है वो अर्न कर रहे हैं थ्रू मौका ऑनलाइन. उनके बच्चे जो हैं वो स्कूल जा रहे हैं. जो ड्रग एडिक्ट उनके हस्बैंड्स थे वो जो है अब जो है basically they've been treated. This is just one of the 187 stories we have at the NIC. But the thing is कि we don't actually get a platform कि हम इनको जो है सही तरीके से promote, and it's just not मतलब our NIC, but in general as you talk के हमें जो है सही तरीके से उनको promote करने का मौका नहीं मिलता. So I would say problem. जी,
I sorry to cut you. Please go ahead.
So problem identify कर ली, but individually हमारी क्या responsibility बनती है कि ऐसी stories को dig out करें हम और इनको सही तरीके से जो है promote करें.
Bilkul, that's what I'm saying, that we have to be consistent, because it's not going to be a super duper hit. You know, if you come up with something, for example, I remember when I started off my YouTube channel, you know, a lot of my friends told me, Sophie, you have such a good PR with all the celebrities, you know, all the singers and actors. Why don't you start hosting a show in which you call them up and talk to them about their life and make it like a Karan Johar special, you know, with the rapid fire round and glamorize it and all of that. I was like, listen, I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. Why? Because it's A, it's already been done to death. B, been there, done that. And C, I think right now in my life, I want to give back to the society. I don't think talking to celebrities who everyone's doing these days is going to give back to the society in any way. Entertainment, sure. but giving back to the society, no. So I remember initially, ना मैं सोची थी अच्छा मुझे पता था कि जब मैं start करूँगी views कम आएंगे, लोग कम आएंगे. But then, slowly and steadily I was at it. And now what started happening is that brands and companies have started to come to my YouTube channel and have started telling me, okay, we want you to highlight a certain CSR aspect of our company so that you tell people, okay, so this is the good thing that we're doing. And I'm like, okay, sure, that works. So there's money coming in, and I'm also doing something which is not your usual thing. For example, अगर आप किसी mall के बारे में बात करें, Packages Mall in Lahore, right? So if I were to do a Packages Mall special, I wouldn't do, hey, you know what? This is a way that you can style as this white kurta in like 5 different ways. I don't want to do that. Everyone's doing that. I don't want to stylize a kurta in 5 different ways. You can do that on your own. You have a lot of other people to do that. But I can tell you from a layman point of view that you have to invest in Pakistan. And these are some of the shops that are giving you the opportunity to do so. We need to endorse our local products. We need to endorse investment in Pakistan. And we need to make sure that we are proud of being who we are, our identity, our country, our Pakistan. So there's a way of looking at this thing. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Sophie, more power to you, Sophiya. I mean, that is a wonderful thing to be doing. It's not an easy thing to be doing because calling celebrities onto my show will get me rating. It will get me claps. It will get me the views. But to look at that and say, no, I don't want that. I want to put out a positive message, a meaningful message. That for me makes you one of those role models, and we need more. Because the mainstream media is a powerful thing. It has the power to influence. If something comes out on mainstream media, people are talking about it, people are being influenced by it, people are, changing their demeanor and their ways and their behavior towards one another as a result of it, which is terrifying on some level, but it's happening. So we need to be really wary of who these role models are. So my question to you is that do you think the media is doing enough to positively influence the youth? And how can we bring more of these things into the mainstream, the right role models?
See, the thing is, first of all, we need to have a climate of no censorship. That's also very important. No matter what we do, sometimes, if you have a political climate which is indulging itself towards censorship, and that's the big question mark right there. So आप जो मर्जी कर लेंगे, आपकी सारी चीजें censor हो जाएंगी, तो एक तो हमें ये चीज देखनी चाहिए. And I think the government and our state should be supporting a free media, yes, but should also be supporting good content. And they should be inculcating such features that make it easy for us to bloom. Second of all, I think we have no training, no workshops in Pakistan. Absolutely none. If you want to become a radio show host, if you want to become a host on an online TV show, or whatever it is, do you think people give you a little bit of a training? And that is a vacancy right there. I think we really need to build build a bridge and bridge that gap altogether and come up with ideas of people working towards training hosts, because hosts have a lot of power these days. But before I get into that, you were talking about influencers and role models. And I just have one very important aspect. So when you're following an influencer on the social media, did you ever ask yourself that what are you getting influenced by? Are you getting influenced by designer clothes, bags, jewelry, makeup? Or are you getting influenced by good video editing? Are you getting influenced by traveling? What are you getting influenced by? So an influencer is influencing you in which way? Ask yourself this question, that people who you are following online, what do you love the most about them? What makes them an influencer in your life? And if they are able to make a change in your life in any way, that means they've been successful, right? So you have to follow people who you know for sure are going to be good influence on your soul, on your heart, on your mind, on your body, on your life. You have to make sure you understand that why question mark. That's very important.
So the government needs to take responsibility, media outlets need to take responsibility, but most of all, we as citizens and civilians and society need to take the responsibility to filter out what we know on some level to be wrong or negative, and filter in the good, because that will bring in, Sophie, we talk a lot about our identity as Pakistanis, and you mentioned that as well. And we want to compete on a global level. I mean, it's about time Pakistan rises up in a couple of the ranks. We have so much potential, but like you said, and this might be a good business opportunity for you, Sophia, training hosts to be hosts and to be responsible. I mean, Pakistan is in many ways, we're full of blue oceans, and blue ocean is something that's never been done before. There's so many things that here at the NIC, we're seeing founders starting companies that just were never thought of before. And they're seeing a lot of uptake, a lot of impact. So where I'm trying to drive this is that, on the media, you see a lot of negative topics being portrayed. It's all about crime, it's drama, it's stuff like this. And we need to see topics like technology, entrepreneurship, skills development, जैसे कि आपने कहा ट्रेनिंग वगैरह, ये सारी चीजें होनी चाहिए ताकि हम हर लिहाज में, हर एरिया में, हर फील्ड में आगे बढ़ सकें और ग्लोबल स्टेज पे compete कर सकें. So what do you think if we were to just try to just sum it up, how do we go about it? What are the priorities right now? Can you tell me like 3 things we need to do to uplift our traditional and digital media?
Absolutely. सबसे पहले तो एक सबसे कॉमन सवाल आता है जो अक्सर हम लोगों से लोग पूछते हैं, आप लोग अच्छा कंटेंट भी चलाया करें ना, गुड कंटेंट. अच्छा, वो खुद क्या देख रहे होते हैं सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स के ऊपर? डकी भाई को, ठीक है, और जितने भी हमारे यूट्यूब्स की लड़ाइयां चल रही होती हैं, पॉलिटिकल डिबेट. सी नाउ दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू नोट दैट व्हाट यू लाइक ऑन द सोशल मीडिया, where you comment at, the kind of things you view would eventually be the kind of things that you would get to see on your feed. So they would constantly pop up. So if you're into Turkish dramas, then you will always get the news feed full of Turkish actors and singers. If you're into technology, and if you like videos, and if you comment under videos or pictures which are about technology, you will get the same kind of feed. So I think being citizens of Pakistan, or citizens of the world, because there are a lot of other people watching as well, I suppose, or who would be watching it after this session is over around the world, you need to see where your interest lies. Do not believe what is being fed to you on the media. A media should be a catalyst for you. That's good. It should be there to perhaps open up some horizons, probably give you a fresh perspective. But then again, God has given us not a crown, but a mind. We need to use that mind of ours, right? We need to make that effort that अच्छा ठीक है, हमें जो चीज mainstream media पे दिखा रहे हैं, क्या वही रह गए? आप थोड़ी सी खुद भी रिसर्च करें, आप YouTube के ऊपर जाएं, आप Google के ऊपर जाएं, आप सर्च करें डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज के ऊपर. Netflix में, I'm going to give you an example. Here in Pakistan, do you think that the top 10 movies or TV shows that are being watched in Pakistan are the only thing people are watching? It's not true. पाकिस्तान की आबादी तो 22 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा है. अब तो पता नहीं कितनी है, अब तो हम रिकॉर्ड भी नहीं रख सकते कि कितनी ज्यादा आबादी है. So I think that we really need to understand what is always being fed in the social media or mainstream media is not what is actually happening in the society. There are a lot of dimensions to our country. We have a lot of traditions, culture, versatility, diversity. We have to do our own research. And you have to verify sources. आप कोई headline, WhatsApp University जो है ना, वो बड़ी popular है आजकल. आपके parents, आपके parents, आपके uncles, आपके जानने वाले आपको जो forward करते हैं ना चीजें WhatsApp के ऊपर, उसको forward करने से पहले जरा उसको verify कर लिया करें. Verify. It's
not just media's responsibility. हमारे जो citizens हैं, the common man, right? It's their responsibility as well. If they demand कि यार मुझे ये content नहीं देखना, तो कोई उनको वो content नहीं दिखाएगा. So it's demand, supply and demand, right?
Exactly. And also ये मत बोलिएगा प्लीज कि हमारे पास कंटेंट नहीं है. कंटेंट बहुत है. आप सर्च करें, स्पोर्ट्स में, साइंस में, टेक्नोलॉजी में कंटेंट है, मगर एक तो आप उनको सपोर्ट नहीं करते. ये बात है ना. आप देखें, आप उनको व्यूज दें. अगर आप आसिम अजहर के तुम वीडियो को व्यूज दे सकते हैं क्योंकि इसके अंदर एक टिकटॉकर आ गई है और आपने बड़ा मसला बना लिया उसको, तो फिर आप उस कंटेंट को भी व्यू कर सकते हैं जिसके अंदर मेडिसिन या टेक्नोलॉजी या सोशल इश्यूज के बारे में भी बात की. मगर आप नहीं करते हैं तो उनको भी सपोर्ट कीजिए.
अच्छा, आपने सोफिया सपोर्ट की बात की. So now talking about the other 49%, and by 49% I mean our women population.
Yes.
Are we doing enough to make media more inclusive and diverse? हम उनके लिए opportunities create कर रहे हैं through media or not?
No, we're not. We're not. First of all, yeah, I would say that things are a lot better than they were before. But 6% of journalists in Pakistan are female. Do you know that?
Oh my God. That's shocking. Right? That's actually a shocking news for me.
It's a shocker. And recently, I'm sure that you were following the news also, that because of the hostile media climate, a lot of women journalists, female journalists, have got together and they wanted to battle it through because people were harassing them online. देखिए जी, ख़वातीन में सबसे ज़्यादा पाकिस्तान में मसला क्या है? सेफ्टी का. सेफ्टी का मसला. ठीक है, अगर आप एक जर्नलिस्ट हैं और you are a known personality, people will not just troll you, but they will actually harass you in all possible ways. They will either threat you, they will harass you. So first of all, we need to make sure that the climate is safe. For that, the government needs to take precautions, the state. For that, the media organizations need to take action. For that, online policies need to be active. And for that, the general public needs to understand you can't randomly be a keyboard warrior and just tell the other person to go dash off or call the other person some names that you're not supposed to. So it's a very tricky question. I don't think anywhere in the world you would say that women are safe. Right? So ये तो एक जनरल सवाल है ना. बट पाकिस्तान में थोड़ी ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम इसलिए होती है बिकॉज अगर आवाज उठाती है कोई खातून तो वो थोड़ा सा जरा मुश्किल हो जाता है टू डाइजेस्ट.
So I couldn't agree more. Being raised by a single parent mother and, married to a wonderful woman, I get to see every day the plight of a woman. And it just really brings me down because I see that in some ways women are a lot better than men. They can do things that we can't do. But I feel like men globally, I'm sorry, I'm a feminist, so I'm going to say this, but men...
You don't have to apologize if you're a feminist.
Have started feeling, I think on some level, insecure of how capable women are and what they can do to revolutionize the world. I think that on a global level, change will come. And I spent some years living and working in Thailand. And that Thailand is a matriarchal society. It's women-led. And it was the most beautiful thing to see. Shops being run by the woman, husbands in the back, go bring me the flour, I loved it. It was such learning for me. And in some things, women are better. And, seeing the way men respond to that here is, especially in Pakistan, aapne kaha global pay bhi hai, lekin especially in Pakistan, it's not right and it needs to change. How do we change this, Sophiya? How do we change this?
First of all, I'm very proud of what you just said. I just thought that I'll mention the fact that it's really nice and heartening to see such wonderful sort of views. But then it's also because you had to experience that in your life to understand it. So I could say that you have to be in your shoes in order to understand. And that's the sad part, that sometimes you don't have to be in the other person's shoes in order to understand something which is very basic, something which is very simple, right? So I feel that women in Pakistan are very brave. They're very talented.
Right.
But I feel that they sometimes are indecisive, and it's not their fault also because of the circumstances and the situation. But I feel that agar aap mauke pe timely decision le lena to bahut farak padta hai. Because initial hardships, yes, you would face, but the question mark, okay, what if I do this? What if this happens? What if that happens? That thing is always revolving And it's always, we're always thinking about these things, be it a question of divorcing your husband, be it a question of starting a new job or leaving a job once you get pregnant, or being a certain way because you got married, or marrying at a certain age because you have to, or taking a decision because of what you're wearing, or be answerable to other people because you're a woman. So all these things, you know, you have to think twice before you answer in our society. So we have to make double the effort, you know, when compared to men, because you don't have to face that consequence, right? You don't have to face those consequences. You just have to go and do your thing. We have to think about it. अच्छा ठीक है, लिबर्टी मार्केट जाना है तो कपड़े कैसे पहन के जाने हैं, इस टाइम पर जाना है तो अकेले जाना है, अच्छा ठीक है, so right now I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. So all these things are the kind of daily battles that women face. What we want is people to understand that, right? That sometimes the answer to a question is not a straight line for women. We have to go a little zigzag, but our destination is the same. While men keep on going straight, sometimes women have to do a little bit of a zigzag situation.
A little bit extra, yeah.
Not all again, most of them, yeah.
They have to work maybe extra hard to get to a level where they're given that kind of the respect that they deserve a long time.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, if we keep on leaving everything to other people and the state or other organizations, it's going to take a long time. So I think we need to do it ourselves. I think women need to make tough decisions, and they need to be out there, and they don't need to be scared. You know, I get so many calls in which some women are crying most of the times. They're like, you know, our husband beats us up. And I know so many stories. I mean, मुझे तो बहुत time लग जाएगा ये बोल के आपका session ही खत्म हो जाएगा, but फिर वो डरती हैं decision लेने से. तो मेरा ये suggestion होगी कि डरे मत. अल्लाह risk भी देता है और अल्लाह के हाथ में आपकी destiny है. हिम्मत करें and make a decision. That's it.
Sophia. And, you know, on this note, I would like to say that, you know, Sophia, you are also a role model for women right now. Everyone who's watching, you know, you did it yourself, right? You're self-made, you know, you worked hard, you went through this, which is why you understand it as well. So tell us, you know, what are your like activities? How do you keep yourself busy? What's your morning routine? Do you wake up, you have a smoothie, you do some meditation? What keeps you going? Where does this energy come from? And, you know, what would you like to say to women for, you know, getting up and getting out there?
Now, first of all, thank you so much for considering me as a role model. I really appreciate it. And I really enjoyed your energy part. While you were asking me this question, suddenly there was a bubble of energy, even in your own mannerisms as well, you know. So for me, you know, I started a brand. It's called the S Stories, as I mentioned. There's a YouTube show. There's an initiative to help the needy in Pakistan. There's a studio that's coming up as well. Aap training ka puche the wo bhi hai. So the tagline is keep the spirit alive. That is the motto of my life, that I try to keep my soul alive. I try to keep my spirit alive, because I know that bad days are going to come in, they're going to go away. If I'm going to have a bad day, hey, tomorrow's going to be a brand new day, so it's over. Morning's over. I had a bad morning, it's fine. Evening's going to be better. So I think for that, I have to be sane. And for me, my me time is extremely important. I love my own company, and I make sure that I give myself a lot of time. It really makes me unwind and freshen up.
It's important because people don't spend enough time cultivating a sense of self. When you cultivate a sense of self, you have a sense of balance, which means that the exterior does not affect you as much. Your decisions are driven from your heart, you know. Abid?
Sophia, a lot of good thoughts, and I believe that whoever are watching, especially women, they're really inspired. जो आप बोल रही हैं, जो आप messages दे रही हैं, but हमारा एक ये है कि one piece of advice to all the people watching today, वो एक piece of advice क्या होगी जो आप जो है इस platform के through लोगों को देना चाहती हैं?
दो दूंगी, ठीक है?
Okay.
एक तो ये है, because it's very easy for us to write anything that we want on the social media. So my advice would be that before you comment on anyone's picture or video or a story, आप ये देखें कि वो जो आप चीज लिखने लगे हैं, ये क्या वैल्यू होल्ड करते हैं? क्या वो अगले बंदे का दिल दुखाएगा, या वो अगले बंदे को अकल देगा, या आप वैसे बोल रहे हैं because आपको गुस्सा चढ़ा हुआ है, so you're venting out your anger. So I would suggest that if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say anything at all. Everyone in life is fighting a battle that you do not know about. Recently, Chadwick passed away, Chadwick Boseman, and he was a brilliant actor. He played the Black Panther. Nobody knew that he was fighting cancer for the past 4 years. And you know how
making fun of his weight?
Exactly. People trolled him, and imagine what he must be feeling when he was fighting cancer for 4 years, that he read all those comments that were hurtful just because people could just do it and get away with it. So my advice, first advice would be to please hat hola rakho in Punjabi terminology. Second of all, my advice would be to be consistent in your approach, because I feel that it's very important for us to be consistent in life. It is very easy to rise at the top. It is very easy to be a viral sensation. It is very easy to make it to the news, but it is extremely difficult to sustain it. The only way that you can do it is to be consistent in your professional life and your personal life. That is the true recipe of success.
That's a wonderful blast message. And on that note, I think, Abid, I'm going to do the drum roll and then let's start the rapid fire round.
Yes, so we have a surprise rapid fire round for you, Sophia. And I'll say a word, a phrase, or जो भी आपके ज़हन में आता है, ठीक है, आपने फौरन बोलना है.
Done. I'm geared up.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Acha, best book.
The best book, Harry Potter. People make fun of me, but I love it. I love the magic.
I don't care if people make
fun of me. Oh my God. I've read all the books.
Yeah.
Best movie.
Which one? Hollywood, Bollywood? Hollywood. Too many.
Time's running up. Too
many. Armageddon.
Okay. Good choice.
I love the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack as a kid.
Favorite food?
Food?
Yes.
I actually eat everything, but I suppose, and what's my favorite food? I think grilled chicken.
Ah, great.
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, I don't have a lot of fried items.
My best mistake, not my worst mistake, my best mistake. The mistake you're proud of.
I'm proud of, because I wouldn't say I'm proud of it, but I'd say that I learned a lot from it, would be a relationship that I was in for 2 years. I learned a lot from it. I think I came out stronger in the end.
Favorite song?
Oh, come on. You're asking me about my favorite song? Really?
Yes. Putting an Arja on the spot.
Okay. My favorite band is U2. So I would go with With or Without You.
With or Without You. Oh, amazing. Classic. Most interesting person you follow on social media?
You mean after myself?
Oh, yes.
I love watching all the travelogues, because I'm a huge fan of traveling. So I love watching all these travel videos. There's this couple from Australia who travel around the world, and they don't show places, they just show food. Okay, and forget, I think it's Flying the Nest.
Flying the Nest, okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. The biggest mistake a leader can make is?
A reader?
A leader.
A leader.
Yeah.
Underestimating the public. Thinking that he's way above them.
Great. Failure is?
Stepping stone towards success.
Nice. Acha. If I was 18 again, I would. And I asked Numair, with his permission, I'm asking this question. So the blame goes to Numair.
Okay, I'll answer that one. If I was 18, I would take care of my physical appearance, because when I look at my pictures, I was like, what on earth was I wearing back then? How could my mom let me out of the house looking like that?
Great. A leader is as good as?
The public thinks he is, not who he thinks he is.
I would hate to
talk to
Be old.
Numair and Abid while Numair's in a mall full of crying babies.
I would hate to feel old, not be old, like feel old.
That's worst actually. Feeling old. I mean, you're old, but वो क्या कहते हैं कि age is just a number.
You know that buddhi roo? Like I hate feeling that. Yeah.
Okay, the biggest lesson my mentor has given me is
life goes on. It always does.
Nice. And the last but not least is I'm afraid of.
This is very cliched, but I'm afraid of losing my parents. Yeah, but it's very cliched though, but I suppose it's the biggest fear. I think it's every child's fear. You go through it or you apprehend it a certain way.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sophiya. We have some questions as well. Over to you, Numair.
Yeah, let's look at some of these questions. So starting
Hold
with
on,
this,
because, hold on. I think his fan is making really weird noise. Ye kya ho gaya?
Sophiya, get into a new spot. Freshen the energy.
There you go. Okay.
All right. So Ahmed Hassan here is asking, political polarization of Pakistani news anchors is disturbing the credibility of news. Your views?
See, the thing is that it's not just in Pakistan, it's around the world. And again, see, the thing is it all comes down to the fact that we should never believe what is being fed to us on the media. So, for example, I'll talk about my perception, right? So being a citizen of my country, if I see a news item and I feel, okay, so this is the narrative that this host is bringing to the table, but what if I do my own research and find out if he or she is saying the truth or not? And make my own conclusion. So being a journalist, we were taught actually in ethics of journalism that you should never give your opinion. You should state the facts and leave the conclusion to the viewer or the listener or the audience. Right. So I think that it's high time we start doing that. If someone's making a judgy statement, then we really have to understand and dig deep into it and form our own conclusion.
Right, ethical journalism.
Yes.
So, next question is from an anonymous friend. If I think that I can do a good job in the media, what is the best platform to start with?
It kind of depends. See, the thing is that you have to do a lot of soul searching in a way, right? And you have to understand what your strength is. If you feel that you would be more comfortable in the radio industry, then go for radio. If you feel, no, you want to be on TV and you're ready to fight that battle, because it's not easy, then go for TV. So it really depends on what kind of a battle you're ready to face, because it's a tough world out there, a lot of competition. It's not as glamorous as it looks, a lot of hard work, a lot of politics. So you have to be brave enough to fight all of that and gear through it. So find your strength. Aapki strength bolna hai, अच्छा दिखना है, एक impact लाना है, या क्या करना है. अपनी strength और अपनी aim को question mark में लाएं और फिर आगे जाइएगा.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer for you, Anonymous.
Yeah, because there's no right answer to this, huh?
Right. But so go with what you're good at, right? And follow your heart.
Yes.
Next question is from Haris Jilani. He's a media student from Kashmir. He's done his bachelor's in mass comm and multimedia, and he's freelancing right now with a digital publication called thewire.in. Now he's looking for an opportunity to pursue his master's in multimedia. So do you have any suggestions, any advice for him?
I would say that, first of all, it's great that you're doing your studies, you're completing your studies in mass communication and media. I think it's very important for us to cushion that education forward and then use it in a practical space as well. I think you should also gain a lot of experience, because I remember, मैं अपनी बात करूं तो जब मैंने मास्टर्स खत्म किया उस जमाने में 2 साल का बैचलर्स और 2 साल का मास्टर्स था. मैं मतलब एंशिएंट लग रही हूं अभी. So I remember after I completed my masters, I did a lot of internships. मैंने हम टीवी में, नेशन में, डॉन में, फिर दुबई में भी internships की, क्योंकि when you do your internships and when you intern somewhere, you understand the practical side of life. And then you can take a decision that now, do you want to start work or do you want to continue your education forward? It depends on what you feel after that experience.
Very nice. Very nice.
But he needs experience.
You need experience. Do you hear that? gain some experience, even if it's creating your own experiences, go make some videos, do something interesting.
No. Not just make videos, he should go and intern at places that are credible because वो उनको train करेंगे और उनको brush up करेंगे. Like if somebody comes to us at FM 91, I would personally train that person. That और मैं इस तरह easily नहीं छोड़ती, मैं कहती बेटे आ जाओ मेरे पास, शाबाश, मैं सही सिखाऊंगी, because I want to do that. You need to do that grilling session. I'm
a testament of that. I've done my internship in FM 91 in Islamabad. So yes, I know a lot of things. I learned about professional work is from FM 91.
Very nice. Yes. Very nice. So next question is from Azhar Bilal Shah. He's asking, would you agree that modern day corporate environments more inclined to hiring women rather than men of the same caliber?
It kind of depends. It depends that which department are you looking at. And also, it also depends ki kis cheez ki vacancy. Like, for example, in our office, I would love to hire a girl, because right now it's just two girls. I'm there and Maruk is there, who's my marketing assistant, and that's it. So maybe for more inclusivity, I would want to include one more girl, because there are a lot of boys. So it kind of depends on which department you're talking about and what is the criteria of hiring that woman or that girl. It depends. It's not just what you feel and think right now. That's not how it works in the corporate side. Holistically speaking, of course, exceptions are there. So you might be right in certain ways.
All right. Last question we're going to take here. This is from Rayan Khan, and he's asking, how effective do you think social media campaigns are in pushing your agenda forward in Pakistan?
A lot. That's a very good question, actually. I think it's very relevant to the digital age that we all live in, the current age, which is known as the digital age. I think it's very important because, see, the thing is, Pakistan is full of young people. हमारी population तो है ही सारी young. तो अब आप ये देखें कि उस ज़माने में जब TV था तो एक different perspective था, फिर radio था तो different था. Now it's all digital. Traditional media has also come into the digital side. तो चाहे आप पुराने stations की बात करें, वो online आपको मिल जाएंगे. I think all of the budgets are now being spent on online media platforms. Right. And that is why it makes it very important for all of us and mandatory to be credible and to mention the sources and to do your research in your stories. Very important. That's the future.
Just got a last one from Sanju. What's the best thing that's happened to you in the media industry till now?
I think the best thing that would have happened to me in the media industry is that I think it's groomed me a lot, because I had to go through certain stages in my life. Like when I started on my career, I was an RJ, then I became a producer, then I became the programming manager, then I started hosting events, then I started my TV show, then I started my YouTube. So it was a journey for me. And I think that for me, the media has been my parent in a way. It's been my mom and my dad, because it's nourished me and nurtured me as a baby and given me that professional outlook in my life. So the best thing is that it's groomed me and given me that confidence.
What a wonderful session today with you, Sophiya. Such pearls of wisdom shared, and I hope people do listen to this later and take from your advice and take from the messages that were conveyed today. From me, that's an over and out. This was Numair Shahzada, and we had with us Abid Gul, who I didn't introduce in the beginning. Who's also
My name is Abid Gul.
In case people forgot, Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing more of you, Sophiya. Please come down to the facility, obviously with SOPs in mind. And would love to host you again, maybe on another topic as well.
I would love to. Yes. I would love to. And I think I would just like to sign out by just saying a few things.
Sign
out. I know. That, life is 10% of what you get, but it is 90% of how you make it. So how you react to your life situations is the thing that matters the most. Because God will always have some things or the other. Aaj acha din hai, aaj bura din hai. But always remember that the way you perceive life, the way that you feel, how you would react to life situations would change your life altogether. So make that effort and keep the spirit alive. Thank you for having me.
With this inspiring message, we'll like to sign off. And inshallah, we'll team up with you again. And thanks to all our participants for watching on Zoom and social media. You will get the recording of this on YouTube as well. Thank you, Sophiya, once again.
My pleasure, inshallah. Khuda Hafiz. Bye-bye.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.